I'm Raymond Dale Bigelow. I was from near Mattawan, Michigan, near Kalamazoo, and I did 16 years on active duty. So then I went aboard the ship. It was big, and I remember the first class petty officer, his name was Michael Wade. He came in, I think he made chief or senior chief or whatever, but at the time he was a first class, and he came and met me at the bow, at the stern, at the fantail, and I had my sea bag and I had a couple other bags, and he took me down to the berthing area, and of course these guys were, all they had left to do was to cross the Atlantic to come home, and so I found when I got down to the berthing area, there was no lockers. They had them all full of trinkets and things that guys had brought back as souvenirs and things, and so I literally lived out of my sea bag for those 10 days until everybody got home. As soon as we got back to the States, all the folks that were married and stuff, they went home and lived off base, except for on duty days, where of course I was single, so that was my home for about 3 years. Well, I was assigned right away to the training department, which meant we had ESO, which is Educational Service Office, and we had the Command Career Counselor's Office. We had everybody, when they first went aboard, went through what they called an indoctrination and familiarization, and they called it just short INDOC, and it was like a 3 or a 5 day class or something like that. So I did that on my way back, and we had the Navy counselors, the career counselors, and so we didn't have a lot of the duties that a typical. I was what they called a non-rated guy. When I got aboard, I was still an E1, so I couldn't even wear my personnelman rating badge, because in those days you didn't wear an E1 stripe. You didn't start wearing a stripe on your sleeve at all until you made E2. So, but I went there, and we didn't, as us in training department, there was only 6 of us non-rated guys, and so we didn't stand any like what do they call them, working parties or things like we did all the non-rated type things. You did the laundry and cleaning the compartments and did the sweepers and setting yoke and all those kind of things. But I think from talking to guys around the ship that worked in other departments or whatever, we kind of had it made. But I wasn't complaining. I was like, okay, I guess as my wife tells me now, sometimes you're the bug and sometimes you're the windshield. So, well, yeah. At the end of the day, when everybody would be leaving, when you're in port, they want to make sure that if somehow there would be a leak or something, somehow where the ship would start taking on water, you tighten up different fittings, and the big hatches were I think were called zebra, the middle ones were called yoke, and then if you really tighten things up, like during a general quarters or something, then those were X-ray. And if I'm got that straight, I hope maybe I do. It's been 40 years, so I hope I'm right. But anyway, you had to, when it was during the working part of the day, you didn't tighten things up quite that tight. We had to make them tight while people were mostly going to be asleep and stuff like that. So in case something, like I said, alarms or something went off, that they would, be able to control it in a big hurry.